And then some of the strategies, we talked about this a little bit, the focusing on the, not on the behavior, but really sort of the emotion around it. And here's my favorite. If you can see that picture, that's my mom playing with some Legos. Now here's an interesting thing. My mom was born in 1929, and right now she's to 1940 some. So anything after 1940, she really doesn't remember, which is of course why she doesn't remember me. But somehow, I wasn't born until 1959, but somehow the one connection we still have is Legos. I used to play with Legos all the time when I was a kid and loved them so much. I am now a certified Lego instructor, and yes, there is such a thing. And so what's cool is that she can remember that. Now they say, it was so cool listening to his description about activities, because one of the things that they say at some of the dementia care facilities is, if they're gonna do the Legos, do the really big ones. My mother doesn't like those. She likes the small ones that we used to do. And so whenever she's, off on some tangent, look, and she's building windows and doors. So she'll always say, I'm building a house so I can go home. Okay. And it is, I continue to do it with her because she, remembers it, and it's really, it's really cool. And the other piece, this is my mom here on the right, and her siblings. My Aunt Diane wasn't born yet, and so I have about maybe 500 pictures on my phone, because like most of us, I don't go anywhere without the phone. So when my mom is really fidgety or agitated about whatever, I'll whip out the phone and we'll show all the pictures that she does still remember. All the things from the 1930s, and she still has her best friend since kindergarten. We try to take Miss Adams everywhere. They tell the same 200 stories over and over. I can repeat them in my sleep. I probably have. And they love it. I take them out maybe once every 6 weeks or so, and we go to lunch. Quite the event, but you'd have to be there. So the pictures really, really help. It gets her back on track. It calms her down. Really a cool thing. So I don't go anywhere without those. And again, just trying to find a way to work with it. And I know that's hard, but these steps I think really, really help. So hopefully they'll help you as well. And then the other thing, sundowning, how many of you have problems with that? Confusion is, a big thing. My mom's thing is, whenever I take her back to the group home where she is, she says, is this where I live? We go through this over and over and over. And, she asks for people who are, dead, and, you find some sort of answer for that. And the only thing, there are times I try to correct other people's behavior, because when I go, the group home my mother lives in the state of Maryland, they have group homes that are approved, by number. So the lady that owns the group home, she's approved for like 8 people. But there've never been more than 5 people there since my mom has been there. And so it's a great environment for her. She's very un-Loretta-like. She does not like people. And so the cool thing about that is, whenever she talks about, going home and that kind of thing, we always, have a good strategy for that. Where we run into problems is that when I come over, because she doesn't remember me now, the caregiver will say, you know who that is. That's Loretta, that's your daughter, but she doesn't know who I am. So I try not to, have people correct her. I'll be cousin whoever today. And my Aunt Franny would always confirm who the relative was that she thought I was on that day. But now I don't have her either, so I just pretend. I go along, I'm George or Henry or whoever. Does that hurt? Yes, of course it does. And it's especially hurtful because she still remembers Miss Adams. So like, wow, you remember her? She's just your best friend. You don't remember me, and that was hard. I also appreciated Dr. Taylor's comment about not crying in front of them. I get that. The first time my mother did not remember me was more than a year ago on my 55th birthday. She had not a clue who I was. I went to my car and I cried and cried and cried. And then I called my daughter and we cried and cried and cried together, but that was it. And I have never cried in front of her, which is pretty, so that was good to know I'm doing the right thing. So that was kind of cool. But it's really, kind of devastated. So the whole thing about staying calm, not that easy, but I guess we kind of get to it. And then the brief explanation, again, sometimes I don't do that well, but I'm still a work in progress for that. The photos we talked about, I'm not sure why that works so well, but it's awesome in terms of getting really to the gist of whatever the issue is. And this is hard. I'm not sure how you deal with that one. It is very hard not to take it personally when folks don't remember you, folks that you love and you've had this amazing relationship with. And so that's really probably one of the most challenging things for me. So that's a big one. And then this was probably one of my biggest points in the book. So many things have happened since the book came out. And, you know, as I said, if I could change some of the things for my friends, it would be that they'd be more prepared. Who knew the whole thing about becoming someone's, you know, getting power of attorney? And I'm in the process in the county where I live. Power of attorney doesn't do all that much for you. I have both, medical and financial. However, because of, as I said, where I live, they have some issues with people taking other people's money, and so power of attorney doesn't get you a whole lot. So I'm also in the process of becoming her guardian. At the time when the book came out, I wasn't nearly as far along as I am now. You had to get a social worker and all that. So I was offended when they said you needed a social worker. I thought that they thought that meant I was, you know, abusing my mom or something. So learning about all of these things were just, I mean, crazy. And so I think the cool thing for me is, you know, now having all these booklets, I carry this stuff around with me. If I had probably my two closest friends, the Care Finder and from Alzheimer's Association and Preparing to Care, just who knew you need to have all of these documents? Now, most of us know what kind of drugs our loved ones take, but you might not know the dosage, or, you know, always know everything about the frequency. So going through these lists and learning about all the things you need to know, so helpful. But Lord knows I wish I had had it earlier on. So some of the things that, you know, maybe you haven't thought about yet or haven't had to face yet, you know, just always think about preparation, because it really is like having a child. You know, remember when you carried diaper bags everywhere? Remember that? I have a mom bag everywhere I go, and what's in them is all the things that make her comfortable. So here are my two favorite things. This is $1.99 at Cracker Barrel. This is her most favorite thing, and the reason that I use this, I used to use word puzzles. She loved seek and find and all that kind of stuff, crossword puzzles. You know why I can't use those anymore? Because about 4 months ago, my mother started reading everything out loud, and I mean everything. So, and because she's now to the point where she has no inflection at all, it comes out interestingly. So because she is such in good shape, whenever I'm doing some of the things for the group home, we'll do shopping for the group home. So, you know, I'll take her to CVS and we'll have her little basket, and I ask her to find the things on the shelf. So she'll find them on the shelf, we'll cross it off the list, you know, just whatever activity you can do. Except she also has to read it out loud. So we're in the middle of CVS and she'll say, kaopectate for diarrhea. Oh my God. So people are kind of like, wow. So of course now you can't go to the doctor's office and with the word puzzles, because she'll read, I mean, she reads every line, every letter, everything, trying to find whatever the word is. Can't do that. So we've switched to this. And so we think she loves them because it's bright colors. I have a smaller one too. I have several different things. I have bags of Legos. I pretty much have everything in here. So it really does seize the moment. There's this one, she likes this one because it has wheels. And so again, all these things you can get at a dollar store or something to keep her calm until we can get back to where we're going. Because a year and a half ago, sundowning was the normal 5 o'clock. She's closer to like 3:15-ish or so now. I want to go home, oh my God. So that's been interesting for me. Now on the right, love these. These are behavioral changes checklists. A really great friend of mine, Mara Batanis, wrote a book about the dementia center, friendly centered care kind of thing. And she came up with all of these checklists. And so when we go to my mom's neurologist, she always wants to know what behaviors are new. So we've really started to track them. It says in my introduction on the back of the book that I journal pretty much everything. So I try to always keep track of what she's doing now that she may have not done previously. So that's helpful too, trying to figure out, you know, why are we doing some of the things. We don't know why she reads everything out loud. I'm happy she can still read, but we certainly don't know what it is about that she does it. Yes?
As far as preparation, what about financially? I don't know if you're responsible.
I am. Yeah.
Was that a big part of?
It was, absolutely.
Did it come as a surprise to you, the cost?
It has. The great thing for right now is, and one of the things is her retirement check really does nothing. Back then, my mother was a 25-year government employee, so back then, African Americans couldn't be like any higher than a grade 7. So matter of fact, her boss got demoted for continually trying to promote her. So that was not, a good thing. So I only have to add about $1,500 a month to.
You have to supplement.
But she's on a couple of waiting lists. Find out everything you can about services where you live, because they're all different. And I was about to fall out back there when the doctor was talking about activities. I thought I was doing a fabulous thing for my mom. I wanted to keep her culturally engaged. I had her in this adult daycare thing, and it was expensive, but I thought I was doing something. They were going trips and this kind of thing. It was great, except she hated it. One day they called me at work and said, "Your mama's refusing to get on the bus." "What? Are you serious?" So I go and I say, "Why don't you don't want to go to daycare?" She's like, "No." "Well, what's the problem?" "Well, they want me to do too much stuff." "What do you mean?" "What do you want to do?" "I want to stay home and read my book." "Well, my God, let's stay home, because as much as it costs." She said, "You mean it's not free?" "No, sweetie, it is not free." So no, you don't have to go anymore. But wow, if I had known that was $10,000 ago. I wish I had known that you had that, because I think just 3 days a week was like $800. And I really thought I was doing something, but maybe I should have asked her first. And so you learn so many expensive lessons. So she's on 3 waiting lists right now that are all subsidy based. But the waiting list is like 3 years or so. But you get on them at different stages, and I scour everything that the Department of Aging puts out to know what she's eligible for and what she isn't. So put yourself on every possible list. Keep calling them, bugging them, see if you can move up on the list. It only takes a little bit of time, and if it's worth it and can save you a few $1,000s, you're good. My greatest fear, my mother's gonna live a long time. At 86, we got a long way to go. Yeah, oh my God. Really. And the beauty of it is I used to be really sick in my late 20s, early 30s. And they used to always say, I would die. I just never really believed that. And thank goodness. I was sick for about 13 years. I had about 20 operations, that kind of thing. And I always thought my mother would outlive me. So I think that's how it was supposed to work out. Now I'm healthy, and without my sister, of course, I'm alone. So I think that it was supposed to play out this way. That now I'm healthy enough to keep up with her. That's not the weirdest thing, ever. So the financial piece, luckily, I was already on her checking account anyway, so that was one battle I did not have to fight. It's a great question. And I keep planning for, it says, always have a plan. Always have a backup, and then a backup, and a backup to the backup, because the lady that owns the group home, she owns 3 of them in the county where I live, but she's also in her 70s. Thinking to myself, well, what happens next? I have her on a couple waiting lists for another one. There's one, she lives like 5 minutes from me. There's another one that's even closer, like really a couple of blocks from me. And that lady is like in her 30s. I'm like, okay, that's my next plan. So, you had to, I'm telling you, that's, you just keep staying ahead of the curve.